let's go ahead and create our environment and our materials to prepare our rocket for our grease pencil. Let me go outside of this camera right here, and I'm gonna press on the platform, hold shift, and press on my rocket, and I'm gonna press the dot button, the period next to the zero on my number pad on my keyboard, and this is gonna focus my camera on the selected objects. There we go. This is gonna make it easier to select our different objects. Next, I'm gonna select my rocket, go into objects. I'm gonna click shade smooth, which is gonna smooth out my rocket ship faces. I'm gonna click on my platform as well, click object and click shade smooth as well. There we go. Next, I'm gonna switch my viewport setting right here, place setting, into the material preview, which is gonna allow me to see or preview my materials. There we go. Right now our material looks like this because we have no materials assigned to them or working materials assigned to them. So selecting my rocket, I'm gonna go ahead and click on my materials tab right here. And here we have a initial material that came in from the when it was imported into Blender. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on this X right here to delete that. Well, not delete it, just unassign it. We don't delete it, it's still here in the system. We can click new and let's name it Rocket Metal. Let's go ahead and crank up here on the metallic setting. Let's crank it up right here. Increase the roughness a little bit. And decrease the color here down. Make it a little bit bluish, just slightly. You can adjust the color however you want. The metallic will make it more metallic-like. I'm gonna increase it all the way up to 1. The roughness, you can decrease it or increase it however you want. Actually decrease it a little bit to about here. There we go. For the platform, I'm gonna do the same thing. Get rid of that material that it has. Click new and create another material here. And let's make a little bit of increase the metallic of it and roughness. I'm gonna increase the roughness a little bit to about 0.5. Change the color. Let's see what works. Choose. This looks pretty good. Perfect. There we go. We got some basic colors going on, and I'm gonna add another one right here. I'm gonna actually switch over to edit mode right here. Remember, I have the my rocket selected. I'm gonna switch over to edit mode. Next to edit mode now, this buttons appear. This allows me to select either, let me switch to my move tool right here, my vertices, edges, or faces. I'm gonna stick to faces because I wanna select this bottom rocket nozzle right here. So I'm gonna switch over to my back view right here. And I'm gonna turn on my transparency up here. It's very important. This is gonna allow me to select the other side of those faces. And I'm gonna use my marquee selection right here to select those bottom faces. Just like that. Let's rotate out of this and we can see that we selected the bottom piece right here. But we actually also selected those tips right here. So we can hold down Control and then marquee select everything again right here, two sides, and marquee select the other side. This is going to allow us to deselect those faces without deselecting the faces we don't want to deselect, or just keep these faces selected as we deselect this. Just hold down Control and select the faces you want to deselect. There we go. Now that we have that bottom nozzle selected, we can actually click here on this right here. Sorry. Let's make a new layer here, material layer basically. Of an empty layer right here now, right? Based on this. Let's select that empty layer. Click assign right here first. Then let's make a new material. And that material is going to be assigned on that selected slot right here. Let's name it dust. There we go. And let's color it. Let's go ahead and turn off the transparency for now, so we can actually see how it looks. There we go. And increase the metallic metalness of it. Decrease the roughness. There we go. Let's see how that looks. Let's go back to object mode to see, take a better look. There we go. And that looks pretty good. These are our base materials that we're going to be using for our grease pencil. Before we leave, before we end the video, I'm going to go ahead and add a sunlight right here. I'll go to my add menu, go to lights. Here, go on to the sun right here. And this is going to create a light that is going to simulate the sun. And for this, let's go ahead and take a little preview with the render right here. This is the viewport shading, displays render preview. This is going to render out the lights as well as anything that's simulated. Now, here, right, all I did was move it up on the z-axis right here because it's created on the world origin like any other object. And what we see here now is the light. This is the light. And this here below is where the light is going to be going towards. So if we move this, dot right here is going to change the angle of the light. So you see here, see that? Let's tilt it a little bit to the side. Let's take a look in our camera to see how that looks. There you go, right here. It looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and change some of our global settings right here. This little globe icon, which adjusts our world settings. Let's go ahead and click on the viewport display. Increase this to white. This right here, let's increase this to white. The strength, we can actually turn it down if we want to. And we can see how this is going to look. This is going to show us the world without any light other than the one that we have right now, which is going to allow us to see our light more accurately. So here, our strength is set to 1. And if we set it to about 1,000, it's going to increase the magnitude of that light. See that? Let's decrease the strength to about 500. Still too much. 100. 50. There we go. The angle feature right here will adjust how big the light is and will change the way our shadows behave. If I put 2 here, you can see how strong the shadows are and how dark those areas are as well. We increase it by about 20. It looks a little better. Just 50. And here, under the render setting right here, we can actually change the type of render we use. We can actually use Eve, which we're using right now, Cycles, which is an animation style render right here, which is a lot more detailed and a lot more better quality. Here we go. Now we can see our colors for a light right here. How it will look in our final render. Let's go ahead and change. And we can actually see here that it changed the type of settings we can actually adjust because the render now that we're using is now different. Let's go ahead and change our light settings. Our strength is still at 25. Angle still at 50. Let's decrease that to 25. Let's look through our camera. It's looking pretty good. I'll stick to that. And once you're done adjusting your camera right here, we can actually go back to our global settings and let's go ahead and increase that by 1. Let's see how this looks. Because we might need to adjust our light depending on how we want it to look. So this looks good. We can actually adjust this setting right here just slightly to get something like a sky blue. We want it to be warm or cool. I think I'll go for a cooler color right here. Here we go. Perfect. Let's do a quick test render right here. If you click render animation, this is going to render out all our active frames right here. Let's click here on render image. This is going to give us a higher quality render and you're going to give it a few couple of seconds for it to finish downloading, right? Rendering, sorry. It's looking pretty good. It's still rendering. I'm gonna stop rendering. You can click escape to stop rendering or escape a render because it looks pretty good right here. I like how bright it is. Everything's to be colored. I like the shadows right here. Perfect. Let's go back to our render preview right here. And we can go on to the next step.